If your biggest issue right now is that YouTube is messing with the algorithms and that left wing media is not being properly promoted, you really missed the whole point. I am embarrassed by this. I have something like 20 subscribers to this channel. And people like me don't get clickbait. They don't get clicks. They don't get shares. They don't get money off of YouTube. Because we're not here to make money. We're not here to promote white privilege. We're here to give a message to save this democracy. Not to replace corporate media with another God-forsaken audacity of greed. Now on YouTube. But we are here so we have a voice. Now, about a year and a half ago, a man named Paul Lance said that a general strike would help us to save this democracy. That time has passed. And recently, thanks to you, white America, corporate Democrats, vote blue no matter who, flower power, peaceful protesters, my state has been targeted for the next ICE raid. Donald Trump, with the blessing of the Supreme Court, the MAGA movement, the MAGA Republicans, and Democrats taking AIPAC and AI money, have okayed Donald Trump having absolute control over the United States government. At every turn, they could have reversed that. But that is another debate that history will tell about the Nancy Pelosi's, the Merrick Garlands, the John Fettermans, the John Roberts, the Clarence Thomases, and so forth. But here's where we are. As a person that lived on and off in the same place where Harriet Tubman took enslaved black people from the state of Maryland to the north, to New York and Canada. I sit here right now as black people from Maryland misrepresent me. So as a person of color, representing a state that is the richest state in the United States of America, that is fully comprised of black and brown people who fund this government. I have a problem with this. As I told you before, I'm a lifelong, since the 1990s, civil rights activist. And I have sacrificed and given a lot of, I wouldn't call it wealth, but money that I had that was surplus to people of all colors, white, black, red, and brown. Because what I do comes from here. So here's where we are. And here's where YouTube is. 2 days ago, Donald Trump claimed that he won the state of Maryland by a landslide. Now, let me tell you something about the state of Maryland. This white trash motherfucker and his entourage couldn't get laid with a fistful of dollars in a whorehouse in any place in the state of Maryland prior to the Civil War. So you cannot tell me that this asshole won the state. He says he knows the state of Maryland. You don't know shit. But we're beyond that right now. I don't need to convince you to understand me. What I need to do right now is an American that looks like me, whose Democratic Party is against me, whose Republican Party is against me, whose judicial system is against me, and whose so-called president is against me. I need to defend me. I don't give two fucks. Right now, if you want to vote blue, no matter who, I am a socialist. And every time I vote, I'm going to vote for socialists. But what I am not going to do is worry about clickbait on YouTube. I'm not going to worry about who is popular and who all of a sudden is being fucked with by the algorithm. You know what you do? You get your ass on the street. You hang the American flag upside down. Hang up an AIM flag in your... Don't go to a fucking protest once a month. Give me a fucking break. We have suffered enough, white America. And I tell you one thing. The state of Maryland is not going to fight for you on your terms. The state of Maryland is not going to fight for Republicans or Democrats on their terms. What the state of Maryland is going to do is do what we always do. Now, our mayor might be a world-class fuck-up right now, Wes Moore. And he might placate to Donald Trump. But that's his problem, not ours. We are going to do what the Maryland 400 did in the American Revolution. They saved it. We are the future of America. Not the past and not the present. Black descendants of slaves deserve more than Japanese people getting reparations for internment camps. WAPs and Italians who were black when it was convenient being called white now. Latino Americans all of a sudden considering themselves whites, like Cuban Americans. We are stronger than you think, and we are still here. Not only that, we were here before you came here. This is your first rodeo. This is not ours. This is not a proclamation they want you to believe against the United States of America. What this is and where it will begin and end is in the free state of Maryland. Under no circumstances, when the 49 states decide they're going to vote blue no matter who, is the new Black Wall Street going to kowtow to Donald Trump or bend the knee to the Democratic Party? We will stand alone, along with black people in Washington, D.C. We are not afraid of gun-toting white people, insurrectionists, and traitors to the United States that beat up cops. We have generations of combat against that. So no, we are not going to peaceful protest when you come here on our land that we bought and earned. We are not going to do good trouble when all we get is bad out of both parties. What we are going to do is exercise our constitutional right to bear arms against a tyrannical government in the state of Maryland and defend the land that we bought. Now, you might buy into that bullshit about Donald Trump. You might be afraid of ICE. But let me tell you something about our history. Thurgood Marshall is the reason I am here today. Vivian Thomas is the reason white people are here today in the state of Maryland. This is the hub of some of the greatest minds around Washington, D.C. But that's the secret we keep. And that's okay. But we are also veterans of the American military. And one of the largest disgruntled populations of veterans in the United States of America. We are also the greatest doged. In a New York Minute, Democratic centrists and MAGA Republicans took everything that we worked for, Medicaid, Medicare, and all of the taxes we paid into the system. They just took it away, never to come back. So the next time you worry about the next clickbait on Facebook, on YouTube, and you talk about the next thing Donald Trump did, remember us, the people dying in the darkness, as you worry about an algorithm. Talk about people like John Flannery, Paul Lance, Zoran Mamdani, talk about George Floyd, James Chaney, Fred Hampton, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, in a real sense. Let's talk about Crazy Horse. Anime Aquash. The children buried in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, at the Carlisle Indian School. Let's talk about the lynched, the tongues cut out for people speaking their language. When you can acknowledge that and talk about the past, seeing it your future, when you wait until an election in November. I am not prepared to give a fuck about white people waiting on privilege again. We have paid that price through the generations. The entire world is laughing at you. The entire world does not understand how stupid America has become. But that's okay. Just like generations before, we're going to work you off the job. And if your intentions are not pure, you will not survive. No matter your color, your class, your party. Until November, when it is time to vote. This is the Woke Socialist Podcast. Have the day and the government you absolutely, positively deserve.